Okay, you Republicans, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about these classified documents that were found in offices that now President Biden used as vice president to conduct some of his business. They found these documents. Did Biden then take these documents to their home, his home? No. Did Biden take any of the documents to his home? No. Is there a chance those documents were forgotten in the office during the transition by either Biden or the aides in the locked rooms they were in, and the office was not closed down yet until recently? Yes. Now let's take a look at what Trump did. Trump took these documents from the White House. Now, even if it was his aides who packed them up and accidentally transported them to Trump's home, okay, we can deal with that. But Trump knew many, if not all, of those documents were at his home. Did he voluntarily turn these documents over to the Hall of Records? No, he didn't. In fact, when he was asked for them, he lied and said he didn't have them. That is a day and night difference between Biden and Trump. Biden found that these documents were still in his office. Biden, and they were not known documents by the Hall of Records. They were just briefings for the vice president when he was a vice president. Okay? But Biden took these documents that the Hall of Records didn't even know existed. And once they were found, turned them into the Hall of Records. Trump took his top secret documents that not only came from his presidency, that were not only his briefing papers, but briefing papers and top secret documents from previous presidents. Thousands of them. And he took these, or hundreds of them, and he took these documents from the White House to Mar-a-Lago. He stuck some of them in his own private office desk drawer. That's how, number one, you knew he had those documents. And then, when he was asked about these documents, which I'm banking to believe the majority of the documents that were asked about weren't his briefing documents. They were the documents that came from previous presidencies and administrations. And when the Hall of Records asked for these documents, Trump lied to him. Trump told them he didn't have them, when he clearly, without a doubt, without any question, he knew he had them. And the instant he knew he had them, he had an obligation to search all the boxes that were packed and taken to Mar-a-Lago, find all the documents, and turned them into the Hall of Records. But no! When the documents were seen in this obscure basement unlocked closet, what did Trump do? He had it moved up to his wife's closet. Oh, you want to know why he had it moved up to his wife's closet? It's called plausible deniability. Because if they're in his wife's closet, his wife can be blamed for it, and he can then say, I didn't know anything about it. But they were found in his desk drawers. See, the thing Trump didn't count on is after repeatedly for months and months and months asking Trump to return these documents, he didn't count on the government sending in the FBI to retrieve these documents. He thought as normal he could keep on getting away with whatever he wanted to do, and nobody would hold him accountable. Biden, on the other hand, knew that once these documents were found, that it was wrong to keep them, and instantly had them turned over to the Hall of Records. He could have simply had them shredded and thrown away. Nobody would have been the wiser. Nobody would have known shit about them. But he didn't. He packed them up and he took them to the Hall of Records. And then they had a complaint about the fact that these documents were found in the first office. Now another complaint that they were having found in the second office, and they want to investigate. Okay, fine. I have no problem with them investigating how that happened, how it all came about. No problems whatsoever with them investigating that. Because once they find out, okay, it was a mistake made during the rush of transition between Obama and, Mr. Ridiculous Circus Show Trump, well, mistakes happen. And the paperwork that ended up there were the vice president's briefing documents. They weren't from previous presidents. They were from the time Biden was vice president. They were documents handed to him as vice president. Now, after he received them, he did lock them into a room. So they were in a locked room that he and or his lawyer could access, because that's who found them. But they weren't in a room that the general public could access. Okay? So they were secure. It's not like they were sitting out in his office desk where the cleaning lady could come in and open the drawer and start sitting down and having a reading fest on Biden's off hours. No. They were locked up. Therefore, secure. When they were found, they were turned over. Therefore, properly sent to the proper government organization, even though that organization didn't even know they were missing. Trump, on the other hand, stuck them in an unsecured basement janitorial closet in Mar-a-Lago. They were documents not only of his own briefings, but of previous administration's paperwork. when it was discovered he had this paperwork in this unsecured janitor closet after being repeatedly asked to turn these over, and him repeatedly lying and saying he didn't have them, what did he do? Did he go into that unsecured closet or tell his helpers or aides or Secret Service or whoever, okay, yeah, those paperworks are down there. Somebody let me know they were down there. Can you please go through the boxes and made sure it was somebody who was, it would have to be the Secret Service member. Make sure you go down there, you find all these documents, you document finding them, and you send them to the Hall of Records, or he have his lawyer do it. One or the other, something that was secure. But no, Trump didn't do that. Nope. He went, oh, I don't have them, I don't have them. Hey guys, you know those documents down in that closet downstairs? Go grab them and go stick them in my wife's closet. That way I can go plausible deniability. And Melania can be blamed for it. So he did that. And then here comes the raid. Because Trump left the FBI and the Hall of Records with no other choice to retrieve these documents. Biden, however, turned in documents that the FBI and Hall of Records didn't even know he had. Didn't even know existed. Day and night. Biden is the daylight who exposed exactly what was going on to the Hall of Records. He had no obligation to expose it to the public. He had an obligation to report it to the Hall of Records and the FBI. Nobody else. Trump, however, constantly lied about having the documents. The Hall of Records knew he had the documents. They were not only of his own personal administration, but they were documents of previous administrations that had nothing to do with his business as president while he was in office. Biden's documents, however, had to do with the administration for which he served and were briefings addressed to Biden. Catch the difference? Was it an oops and a mistake that Biden did this? Yes, it was. Does that mean in the future Biden needs to be a little bit more careful with classified briefing documents he receives, especially if he has an office outside of the White House? He needs to be a little more diligent in making sure before he leaves that office, whether he's closing it down or not, making sure before he leaves that office that any documents that are in that office that belongs in the Hall of Records is turned into the Hall of Records. Yes, it does mean that. Does he mean he did it on purpose? No, it doesn't. There is absolutely no proof that he did it on purpose. There is absolutely no proof that he was trying to hide the documents from the Hall of Records or from any other administration. There's only proof that they were forgotten there. They were his own private briefings while he was vice president. There is plenty of proof that Trump tried to hide the fact that he had the documents he had and tried to keep those documents from the Hall of Records and from the FBI, including having several of the documents turn up totally missing, being top secret, leaving the public to wonder, what did he do with them? And is that the way he bought himself out of having places like Russia or China or Saudi Arabia from turning in the debt they had on him and putting him in personal bankruptcy and destitute? Is that the way he bought himself out of it? Because he owed them millions. And right directly the day after he left the presidency, Putin was over there sitting there saying, yeah, I'm going to go collect my debt for the, we're going to go collect the debt for the loans that he was given from Deutsche Bank. And then all of a sudden it vanished. How did that vanish? What did Trump do to make that vanish? Because we all know he owed plenty of money to Washington for his campaign and many other places, and he still owes plenty of money to all these places. But somehow he got out of trouble with huge amounts of money he didn't even have. How did he do that? Is that where those missing documents the Hall of Records knows he had went to? Many of these missing documents was not from Trump's administration, but from previous administrations, from what I understand, from previous administrations going back to Reagan. What the hell was he needing those documents for? Now you remember how Reagan worked with Russia to get them to tear down the wall. Worked with Russia on a nuclear agreement. What was in those documents that Putin could use against America, against NATO, against Europe, against Germany? What was in those documents? And could that be part of the reason why NATO and many of the countries are not willing to actually step in and give a helping hand to Ukraine as Putin commits war crimes and unlawfully attacks that country? I don't care if a country belongs to NATO or not. If a big freaking country like Russia goes to an autonomous country like Ukraine using false allegations to start a war to destroy their democracy or any form of government they have, then the world has an obligation to come to their aid, to stop the crimes, especially the crimes that are right now being perpetrated on citizens of Ukraine. Not just America has an obligation to do it. The world. Because today it is Ukraine. Tomorrow, who knows what country it is. And if Putin ever succeeds in destroying NATO, tomorrow, who knows when he would stop. You people need to start thinking about this kind of crap. You got your little, tiny little microscope going in one little area, and it's right here, right now. Let's not look at the facts of the past or the possibilities of the future. We want to look at this right here. And that's it. And then we want to judge it according to our own biases. Now, as I said, no bias there. Does Biden deserve to have an investigation into how these documents got left behind in a secured office? Yes, he does. No bias there whatsoever. If there is actually found that Trump or Biden was trying to do something illegal and it wasn't a mistake, should Biden be prosecuted for it? Yes, he should. But if it was an honest mistake and not like Trump lying and trying to say he didn't have the documents while opening his top drawer and saying, "Oh, look at that top secret document." Trump is more guilty in his actions of what he did with top secret documents than Biden is, by far. And as far as whatever his son did while Biden was vice president means nothing. I don't care if Biden's son was giving Biden money to help him out. It does not mean Biden knew where that money was coming from. It's just like we don't know if Trump sold those missing top secret documents to Russia. We can assume, we can surmise, we can guess, we can estimate. But we have no proof. So should Trump be prosecuted for espionage? For selling top secrets to foreign governments? No. Not unless it can be proven. And it can't be. Can it be proven that Biden purposely kept these documents from the hollow records the same way Trump did? No, it cannot. Did Biden deny to the hollow records that he had these documents when they asked him for it? No, he did not, because the hollow records didn't even know he had them or that they existed. So remember that when you're making your judgments. Who the hell in this situation looks cleaner? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not Trump. But let's put your blinders on because Trump ran as a Republican, even though he spent his whole life as a Democrat. And he helped the rich. So let's put our blinders on and ignore the facts in the room. Because we're idiots. Total bunch of idiots. And policies don't mean squat if the candidate has the best circus show. Honesty don't mean squat if the candidate can have the best party. And I don't mean party as in political party. I mean the party Trump has when he pulls his little rallies and gets out there and gets all his little people out there chanting in unison in their circus style of lock 'em up! Lock 'em up! Like a bunch of children. And let's be honest, that's how he got elected. As he went up there and he had his circus show, he started barking like a carnival barker. And all the people around him were just going for it and feeling good all over and going home and feeling all that good feeling. But forgetting what Trump actually said. And how many policies Trump actually spoke to. Because the only policy Trump ever spoke about when he was running out as president the first time and now as the second time is the border wall. And I'm sorry, God didn't create borders. Now, do we need to protect our borders from people who could be dangerous? Yes, we do. But do we have an obligation as humanity to help those who need help and give them a way to even help themselves? Maybe to fulfill some of these jobs they can't find workers for? Yes, we do. We are spoiled, rotten, overprivileged society. When our forefathers came here, they didn't have 15, 20 pairs of clothes in their closet. Sure, they didn't treat the black people very fairly. Unless they were a Pinkerton, I think it was. But all in general, if their neighbor fell down, they helped them up. If the government seen a need, they found a way to fulfill it. Today's government, the only thing they're interested in is how they can stay elected. Today's citizens, the only thing they care about is how many pairs of clothes they have that they can stick in their washing machine and wash up, because they don't need just a play or work pair of clothes and a dress pair of clothes that they wash by pounding on a rock once a week. American citizens care about the fact that they can throw away half their steak and not have to worry about starving. Where our past relatives had to worry where their next steak was coming from. We're spoiled, overprivileged citizens. We own far too much and give far too little. And we thump our chests and talk about the Bible, but we forget about what it says. And not a single solitary one of the Republicans in office right now can tell me they are true Christians. And I know Democrats that can never tell you they are true Christians. Or Muslims. Because the only thing that they're preaching is selfishness. The only thing they believe in is division. The only thing they want is bigotry. The only thing they can foresee is power and greed. That is why our forefathers didn't want political parties. And mostly the Republican Party, but also the Democratic Party and their voters are proving why. I have registered as a Democrat, not because I believe so much in the Democratic Party that they're the only party I will vote for. No. I registered as a Democrat because the Republican Party today is so much about against what I believe in and how I believe than any other party.